Hello, hello, hello. Greetings, sisters and brothers. I was going to start a little bit earlier, but Spirit moved me to start 17. That was my father's birthday. He was born on July 17th, and so I was going to start it at that time. So, sorry for my tardiness, but it is all perfect in perfect divine order, as we all know. So, greetings. I hope everyone had a good and safe weekend as we start our week on Sunday. I typically start on Sunday, as I explained before. I try to work with numerology and so forth. And I was born on a Sunday. I like to start things on Sunday. Perhaps you start things and begin new things the day of the week that you were born. So I was born on a Sunday. So hence, here I am. This is my first day of the week. So I really wanted to talk about a couple of things because as time has gone on, now we're almost a few weeks out to the new year. And I was reflecting on, this year, which was really and is continuing to be very, I don't even know the adjective I want to use, very curious about this year because the year has come. It's, as quickly as it has come, it's actually just been in oh my gosh, mode. I think everyone has been in oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh mode. And so with that, it's kind of a little bit heavy here at the end of the year. I guess when people are supposed to be festive and joyful, it's been really a year of reflection. And with that, when I think about the word reflect, looking back, reflect. So I wanted to just kind of look at where I was at the beginning of the year and where I am now. And it's been a very interesting journey this year. And so I started to talk about a different topic, but I was just, aligned with spirit. And it took me to an area that's probably a little bit sensitive because I have a lot of Christians and people of faith that listen to me and follow me and purchase my books, etc. And obviously, you can follow, share, and like the Melanin Report 360, the Melanin Report 360. And like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. I forget to say that. I said thank you to Spirit because it was like, okay, definitely say that tonight. So with that said, I really want to reflect on the feeling that I have at now. We're just a few weeks out into the new year 2021. So I wanted to find out if people are literally shopping, because traditionally our people, melanated people, generally this is like, go to the store, shop for mama, daddy, grandpapa, grandmama, blah, 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 friends, family alike. And so this year, with everything that has happened, I don't know if we've ever taking a moment to just say, I'm not doing that this year. I'm not doing that this year. I thought when Trayvon Martin was killed, there was so many this year, but Trayvon Martin was probably a few years ago, obviously, but it wasn't this year. I thought that was going to be the nail in the coffin, pardon my expression, to celebrate. I I think we can do other creative things other than spending our money that we may or may not have. And I think we should reflect and say, are we more respected in the community? Are we less respected in the community? I think it's the latter because we spend our hard-earned money, or we have money not hard-earned. We just have, resources. I really want to pause and say, do we have to spend money right now with everything that has happened in the society? Um, I would just pause on that. I would literally just pause on that because there's at least 35 to 50 million of our melanated brothers and sisters in this country. And so we generate and we spend $1 trillion a year. $1 trillion a year. I mean, scratch your head on that. Like, that's a whole lot of money. Okay. So if we had even 10 or 50 or 80% of that, what could we not do? If we can if we can spend money in other communities. Obviously, we're shopping online, we're shopping on the stores, and I just think, Breonna Taylor's spirit of Breonna Taylor, the spirit of our ancestors, the spirit of fill in the blank. I mean, we have so many reasons not to spend money in this country. If you spend money, spend it amongst yourselves, each other, because I think this country only understands dollars and cents. So that's their language. We have a more advanced language, but that's their language. And until we, cut the ties economically, I don't think they're going to get the message. They meaning the other society, the society that we live in. I'm just pausing on that because I know traditionally we put trees up. You don't see a tree in here. But we put trees up. We follow all of these traditions. Are they our traditions, or have they been imposed on us? That's my question. Because yes, we like the fellowship, the gathering, the good food. Not to say we cannot do that, but why are we spending money that we may or may not have to make an impression, to do other things? I just think it's not wise. And we are wise people. We're the original man and woman on this planet. So why would we choose? Because no one is taking you. You're driving your car or taking the bus to XYZ shopping mall, or we got tons of malls out here. And I'm just scratching my head on this. Like, why are we continuing to do this? It just doesn't make sense. In the spirit of our ancestors, the spirit of Breonna Taylor, the spirit of Trayvon Martin, George Floyd. I mean, the list goes on. So why aren't we getting the message that we need to just hold tight on spending so much? If we spend money, wouldn't it be wise to spend in your own community, in our community, and maybe not Christmas, perhaps 26th, which is Kwanzaa, starting of Kwanzaa, 26th through the 1st. Even with that, that would slow down the economic system that relies on us. You know, they rely on our spending because they know we're going to do that. Not save, but spend. Another S. So save or spend. Um, but it's not wise, and we have to walk in wisdom. This year we have had a lot of reminders to follow your spirit and to follow wisdom. Just sit with an idea. We're so busy. The cell phones, the laptop I'm on, blah, blah, blah. I left the house today for like one errand, one errand. And that's it. I came back home and I've been doing some things here. I've been doing quite a bit in my home. But I just pause when I think about, I saw, people, I had to return something, and it was at, I don't want to give the name, but anyway, I had to return something. And so I was just thinking about watching, it was pretty early, it was like 9:30 or so. I was like observing the look in people's eyes and the panic energy and all that. I would just say this is a year I would like you to consider not spending money on frivolous things. Obviously, we have to eat, we have to do this, we have to do the fundamentals of life. So that includes eating, grocery shopping, etc. But how many Black-owned or melanated-owned businesses that we have in our community that we just go right down the street because it's convenient and closer? So do we ever kind of lock in on a notion of, I'm going to go to ABC 123 store that is melanated owned, and his or her hours are a little bit different. So I'm going to send my son or my daughter, or whatever, to the store just to keep the money in the family. I mean, a lot of communities do this. They shop within their own, the businesses, they shop with each other. They very seldom put money in another community, you know. Especially I go back to the nail analogy, nails and what is it? The nails, the I want to say press on nails. I'm dating myself, but the acrylic nails, $40 a pop. I'm like, are you serious? What about my nails? I usually will get a manicure, but that's and it's very infrequent that I go. It's just like, oh, I need to get my nails done. Maybe every 3 months or so, every 2 months. But I seek out Black-owned, melanated owned businesses even out here. I know Atlanta is, I'm a dozen Black-owned businesses. I lived there for many, 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 many years. But I'm just trying to understand why we are doing that. So, shopping online, you have more control over Black-owned. You can just Google Black-owned businesses. If you must shop before the end of the year, and I mean major shopping, like gift giving shopping. I'm just saying, like, pull the plug out. Why are we continuing? No one's holding a gun to our head. We are walking into these stores or shopping online. Now, granted, the economy is sluggish. Okay, so I get all of that. But again, we should narrow down our purchasing power is great. So we should narrow down to Black-owned businesses, if any at all. I would like people to consider shopping at the beginning of the year. That's my 2 cents. And I just don't see how we do it year in, year out. Even without the pandemic, before the pandemic, I mean, we were shopping on average, millions and millions of dollars a week or a month, hundreds of millions of dollars, So I think with the plight of our society that is unfortunate, um, for the spirit of Breonna Taylor, the spirit of George Floyd, Trayvon Martin. Um, it's we have to make another decision. We have to challenge ourselves and encourage each other. Say, you know what? I listened to Deanne. I think I don't even have to do anything this year in terms of shopping. I can honor it and just wait, you know, until the beginning of the year. This has been a doozy year. So, I mean, I don't even know who's in the gift giving and gift getting. So that's curious to me. But let's just pause on some of these thoughts and the use of our money, because I believe right now, any other time, I would not be mentioning this, but we have to save, 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 save. Invest. Black-owned business. If you're in a position and to invest another Black-owned business, if you would like, that would be okay. But again, perhaps go into 2021 with the same money you have 2020 and just do something that you've been researching, etc., and you feel this is the best company, I want to back this company, blah blah blah. So we have to really circulate our money. Back in, I was trying to do some research before I came on, but I think it was the 20s and 30s, Black Wall Street, Durham, North Carolina. So I think it was somewhere in there. We had to spend money with each other. I mean, we're talking over 100 years ago. Imagine that we superimpose those same ideas on life today. We would have, a few grocery stores, chains, so forth and so on. But right now, we have a few barbershops, I'm sure. I'm not trying to underestimate that, but I'm just saying, for this amount of time to be in this country, we should have more to quote unquote show for. That's I don't want to say ill use. I'm not trying to give you a virtual spanking, but we could, I can do better. Everyone can do better. But it comes a time that we need to honor the mothers and fathers of civilization, and that is melanated people. So when you honor your mother and father, that thy days will be longer upon the earth. So this is how everything is kind of coming about. How COVID, how there's supposedly more melanated people dying from COVID than not. I don't even know if the numbers are true, if they're inflated. I just I don't even trust half of what I hear. And that's sad to say, but I try to get my news source from NPR, public television, blah, blah, blah. But, once in a while, I'll turn on the top three networks, and they're saying the same thing. Fear, 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 fear. That's how they're driving this pandemic home. Fear, 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 fear. That's all they are talking about. Fear, 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 and more fear. So don't get on the fear bandwagon. I know that it is inviting to get on the fear bandwagon for some, But just turn it off. Just go within. We talked about that a few nights ago. Go within. Go in peace. Feel if it is wise for you to spend money right now. If it's wise for you to shop right now. I just think we have to maybe help crumble the society so we can build new. Um, that may be It's a tall story, but we may need to be a part of that story because enough is enough. Our people are being slaughtered in the streets. Black on black crime. I did say black on black crime because how can you be melanated, which is a higher vibration, a very high vibration. So I'm intentionally saying black on black crime because the only way you can kill a person that does not, that does look like you, it's totally, crazy. So melanated people, we don't kill each other. I don't believe that. Now, black people, we kill each other. And I heard from a friend in the A, and she kind of witnessed right next to her, and I think she was in a parked car in her car. She was just amazed of what was happening right in front of her eyes. So, I mean, it happened, but I just feel when you are melanated, it's a whole different energy. You cannot harm, another person that looks like you. You cannot harm another soul. The plight of our people. We are here by the grace of the ancestors. We survived, continue to survive the worst atrocity on this planet. And we are living to tell the story. So don't when you see a melanated person, a sister or brother, that is generations of intention of being here, being here. The date is okay. Let me finish. The 13th of December 2020, and so all of that effort, ancestors, people have was were killed and beaten and lynched and set on fire, etc. I'm sitting here by the grace of the ancestors. My lineage got me to this point, you know. Don't take that for granted, So when you hear about black on black crime, that's what it is. You have to understand that they're agents and they are good agents and bad agents. And I feel the bad agents are the people who can kill another black person. I don't understand it, but I really feel that this is an opportunity for us to become brand new. We must, become brand new. And in that way, we can see 2020 clearly, our way of understanding, and overstanding what we are to do in 2021. We have to do things differently. We have to. It's upon us to not do the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And that's the definition of insanity. So we're continuing to do the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. We're continuing to shop year after year, decade after decade, century after century, No respect, low respect. We go into these businesses, they may not want to. Now, the person in front of you is Caucasian. Oh, hi, how are you? Opening up the door of greatness, to them. You are next in line, or a sister, or another sister, or a brother is next in line, and we get the, oh, you survived look. Because it's a miracle that we are still on this planet. But you didn't create us, that way you can't destroy us. You did not create us, and therefore you cannot destroy us. So this is what we need to do. I'm just feeling spirit, and I just feel we will experience more grace once we make a shift of our consciousness and our action. Because if you're conscious and you're getting down with the talks and this and that and the discussions, and then we have actions, they need to match. Actions need to match. And like they say, actions speak louder than words. So if we do anything this year, well, the last few weeks of this year, just say, I don't need that. I don't need to spend $200 for a pair of sneakers. I don't need to put this energy in my child that this is will guarantee you respect if you have a $250 pair of shoes. You're a melanated person, with the $250 shoes. So without the $250 shoes, you are not so much respected. With the $250 shoes, you're definitely not respected. With the $250 shoes, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. So once we recognize that and we feel that in our hearts of hearts, we will be able to make anew. Making anew would mean change the dynamic, change the energy, change customs. We're so caught up on customs, and these aren't even our own. I mean, some customs, but very few. I mean, we have borrowed them from European, Caucasians, blah, blah, blah. This is what they do. Why do we do what we feel we need to do based on their image and so forth? Why are we following suit? We're the mothers and fathers of civilization. I mean, we set the standard, you know? So if you say, you know what, 3 people were killed this year, and it was obviously more than that, I'm not going to spend my money anywhere. You know, I have to get groceries, I have to put the gas in the tank, blah, blah, blah. But the extras, no. This society does not deserve our hard-earned money. This society does not deserve another notch on the belt of saying, oh, we still have them. We still have the Black folks. They're still spending money. And these are Black people. These are not melanated people. I'm making a distinction for a reason. But I want to, keep this in mind. I'm not trying not to be sarcastic, but I'm trying to drive a point home, because it's ridiculous for us to continue to do what we should not do based on the reports, the killings, the murders, etc. It's just, I think I was at the saturated point a few years ago with I'm trying to remember the boy's name. He was 12 years old. I could see his face. Tamir Rice. Tamir Rice? Okay, Tamir Rice. So whatever happened to that police officer? I digress, but this is what's in my mind. Like, are people, we have a task force of following and putting the knee on the neck of that police officer or that jurisdiction that he came out and 5 seconds later, if it was that long, and he killed that little boy. I tossed and turned on that one. I tossed and turned on that mother. I think that was her only child. I stand to be corrected. I don't know the entire story, but that one was despicable. And is he still on the force? So this is what we need to do. People in these cities where these incidences are happening, is there a task force, if you will, on monitoring, as a civilian? That way we know what is happened and what it has happened to the police officer. Because a lot of these police officers, they're back on the beat like 24, 48 hours. Make an internal investigation and that's it. I mean, it's kind of done, one and done. So what I am saying to you is it's despicable for earned dollars that we pay for their salaries, and it's a lopsided treatment police. The young man that was it's been so many. I mean, my head has been spinning, but the young man that survived and the officer had his t-shirt was just, putting bullets in his back, and he's paralyzed. So I know, like I said, it's been so many, but is anyone monitoring that situation in that city? Is there a task force for, these incidents? Because they happen too often. Because they know our power. They know when they see a melanated person, they know the potential of our people. They know that we have survived the worst Holocaust from their ancestors. So, and they're continuing to perpetrate the same result. But what I'm saying to you is there any type of checkpoint? Are we checking, okay, the family is, in turmoil, they're upset, obviously they're mourning their loved one. But as melanated people, are we connecting the dots, on behalf? Because what I'm saying to you is, if it's one person that this has happened to, it's one too many. That's my belief. So if it's one person that, has been killed or maimed or whatever, that's one too many. Because we are a peaceful people. Fundamentally, to our core, there's no history of us going throughout the planet killing people. We have a history. We see the history. We continue to see the history of non-melanated people. So it makes us pause. We have to if we want to have a different result, we have to start with ourselves, our families, etc. We have to really reduce our spending, and we have to share our resources, because I think there was a video, I remember watching it, was a brother from LA, told me about it. And it's a black and white video, and it was how to market to our people because they are eager to shop with you and blah, blah, blah. It's the new middle class. It's from the 70s. I want to say 60s or 70s. And it was so on point because, like, open up the doors to these people, melanated people. They will spend more money with you, blah, blah, blah. And that's what we've been doing. That's exactly what we have been doing. So I'm going to say take the plug out, on the spending, especially right now with all of the destruction of our people. We see it firsthand. We see how, Tamir Rice, that one, I definitely was very um, struck by that one because, that one was a little boy. That could have been my child or well, maybe my grandchild. But clearly, he was just playing with a toy gun, you know. And like I said, I was up a few nights on that one because it was so unfair. And who called the police? That's what these are the dots I want to connect because we know the end story, the middle of the story, and we don't know who that man or woman was in their apartment or whatever, and they called down 911. And that officer pulled. No, I'm gonna not gonna say officer. He had a badge. Okay, he pulled up. I think it was under 5 seconds. He didn't even ask any questions. What is it? What's the? He saw the child was a child. You know, and but again, he was a melanated child. That's the game changer. He's a melanated child. And so the power was great. And obviously the only level of his defense in the midst of being a child, Amir is a child, 12 years old, he didn't have any other way to apprehend him. He was playing with a toy gun. So who contacted the police? That's who I want to know. Who made the call? You know, that he or she maybe or may not be losing sleep, over that situation. Because the fact that he lost his life at the hands of that officer, it's despicable. It's despicable. So, I grew up in the 70s and long time, it feels like a lifetime ago. And police officers, they walked me. Now, I was in the city. I was a Brooklyn girl and growing up, and, we played handball, we were very active. Punishment was not being able to go outside. Do you remember those days? You can't go outside. Oh my gosh, that's the end of what I was gonna do. I can't go outside. That was real punishment. Like, oh my gosh. But with that said, I want to mention that the police officers walked the beat. The police officers were in the community, maybe lived in the community. I don't want to say all of them, lived in the community, but a good amount. So there was a relationship with the officers. So not necessarily by name, but they would walk the beat and they'd have a bully club. I think that's what they call bully club. And the shooting of police, that would be the last resort. I know I'm digressing here, but bear with me. But shooting of a civilian would be the last resort. It would maybe knock you upside the head, if you got out of line or something, talk back or whatever, and they were trying to arrest you. And, if you resisted arrest, remember the good old days? people were just arrested? Is that like a thing it's not a thing now? You know, if you look like me or another melanated person, you got a 50-50 chance of surviving interaction with a police officer? How is that possible in the most great world, most civilized world that we know in this country? We have the best country. We do everything right. BS. Okay, I'll just be nice. It is Sunday. BS. But remember the good old days? You just got arrested. Did that go away? You know, I mean, you do a crime, you spend time, in the pokey. If you didn't have any bail money, you had a cousin come down and bail you out or whatever. You had a court case. Where did those ideas go? Are they still on the books? Because it seems like nowadays you always hear about someone being killed or being apprehended. That would be for them to come downtown and get arrested. It's like, oh, okay, at least weren't killed. But more likely, the case that people will go downtown is usually a Caucasian. I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real. We had a couple of incidences out here. The civilian was, I don't know if he shot a BB gun at the officer, and they resisted even firing back. It's just amazing, you know. So we don't take these instances for granted. I really don't want us to take these instances for granted. And that's why I'm circling back to just pull the plug out. We do not have to spend money with this society ongoing. We have to spend more money in our own community. We generate $1 trillion for a pandemic. I don't know about the stats for next year. Excuse me. This year is probably going to reflect for next year. But to date, we spend $1 trillion a year. What do we have to show for it? If we're going to stay in this country, okay, that's fine. But we have to spend money wisely. We cannot be, lackadaisical on our expenditures. But that's what we have to get in our mind. We're putting value on sneaker. We're putting value. Once we put the value on it, everyone follows suit. We can say, I don't care whose name is on the shoe. My son, daughter, grandchild, granddaughter, nope. We're gonna get some kicks, some kids or whatever. This is what we have to ingrain, try to readdress these issues in our own community of assigning value. We assign value to inflate the prices. If people stop buying XYZ shoes, the value would go down. We assign value because we show society we are willing to spend this money for. It's like a company that is making them from sweatshops and this and that. That's a whole nother story. But we can control what we spend. I'm not saying groceries and these fund of car note, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I got a advertisement for a new car. And it came to me, my mailbox, and it was like, you qualify for blah, 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 blah car and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, that's not even a thought in my mind. I like my vehicle, and I don't have problems with it. And I will say it's a Toyota. So, But anyway, I love my vehicle. I'm not going backwards, starting car note again and all that. I'm like, been there, done that. So we have to really, really address this openly and unapologetically, because we are suffering. This country, especially, and the world over, suffering, suffering, suffering. And I will say this: I feel that once you start treating, you close down the sweatshops, where people of color or blah blah blah, and you start treating melanated people as kings and queens that we are on this planet. If you start recycling, I just got a picture, and no, I don't want to show you, but anyway, I don't think I can show you, but anyway, I just hung a picture in my living room, and the guy brought it out to the car. I picked it up yesterday. It was in plastic. I'm like, no, I'm the type of person that I take my bags to the store. I try to take any very, 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 very little plastic. But we're destroying the planet, plastic piece by plastic piece. We are destroying the planet by not feeding everyone. There's no reason for, the person over whatever company, and they're making trillions of dollars, and a little black boy, little melanated boy, little melanated girl is going to bed hungry. That's out of balance. See, once the planet goes back to balance and there's equity across the board, we won't hear these stories. I don't know if it'll be in my lifetime, but this should be the goal. This pandemic should be teaching us a lesson of there's more than enough. There's more than enough. The hoarding and getting everything, taking everything. This is ridiculous. I mean, there's some people in our community, they're worth they're billionaires. I don't want to mention names, but we probably all know. And I'm sure they do what they can, but why can't they do more? Why can't they spread the gifts more so that a child will not go to bed hungry tonight? So it's troublesome to me, because we can do better since we're so civilized, and we got it going on, and this is the country we live in. But at the fundamental level, we are scared little babies, because we're letting children run this country and this world. And now the elders, the wise people, the natives, the Africans, we should have committees that can figure out where there is a need. There's a need in every area. But I'm just saying, why can't we come together as a one people and start doing things differently? Start doing things differently. Because right now, I really, really feel that the more we do the same thing over and over and over and over again, trying to expect different results, we're at a loss, because we don't even see the benefit of just spreading the love, the joy. We're going to treat someone because they're melanated and we happen to not be, and you're in a position of power to put your fundamental, um, theoretical neck. You have no. Let me say it again. You have a knee on the neck of melanated people. Why is that? If we're so bad and so this and so that, why do you feel you need to do that? Put the knee on someone else's neck. I think it's because we're great and we're not realizing that. We're not doing all that we can do in our own backyard to consider us to be great, great, wonderful, great. Because we've had someone in our life or on our path that has told us the contrary. And we sat with that and we continued that thought process. But I'm here to tell you, we are great. We are great. And while we are great, we have some areas to improve. And one is not spending money in the society this year. I think we have 14 days, 13 days, or 12 days left to Christmas. Choose it wisely, spend wisely, or don't spend at all. That's my suggestion. Spend wisely, groceries, the basics. Obviously, we need to, the essential, but don't get a car right now, you know. Don't get like major expenditures. I would just pause on that because this country needs to learn a lesson. You cannot crap on us continuously, kill our children, maim our husbands, wives, and we still, it's Christmas. It's Christmas. Let's go to the mall. Let's go to the mall. We can say, put the brakes on. Nope, not this year. Next year, not this year. The following year, not this year. Because we have to teach this country a lesson. The lesson is they don't have any understanding of Black Lives Matter. That's all good, well said and done. Okay, that's in this lane. But at the end of the day, the only thing they respect is the almighty dollar. That's the only thing they respect. So treat yourself, save more money, gather small groups. Obviously, they're saying that to not spread COVID. But, I just feel in my heart of hearts that once we start doing things differently, we're still melanated, so that's not going to change. But I think there will be a shift. There's a shift right now on the planet. And, I'll go into a little bit of astrological next time. But this is an opportunity for us to soar. Out of the depths of destruction, we will rise. We will rise. We will rise. So that's all I have today. I just want you to seriously consider shopping, spending money, especially if it's not in your community. No. Because a lot of other communities, they don't spend money outside of their community. They don't do that, So we can stop doing it right now, this year. If there's been no other time to do it, just put the brakes on and say, no, I'm just going to pass. Spend on the essentials. My son, daughter needs shoes. Okay, we're good with that. But try to now go to your Black-owned business if it is online. If it's not around the corner, if it's not convenient, you can go online and you can put your black dollars where you need to put them. Melanated dollars, black dollars, okay? So that's all I have. I thank you for listening. Share, like, subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow, 7/17, ancestors willing. And I hope you enjoyed it. Send comments or questions. Available at any time. I don't want to say day or night, but I will definitely entertain questions as you see fit to ask. Okay. So be well and stay blessed. Bye bye.